Hey everyone, Kara from the Content Company. How are you? I just wanted to do a quick recap of a topic that we hear often here at the Content Company. How much content do you need? So, kind of a tricky question. It sort of depends on a few things. So, the first thing that we kind of look at is, who are you writing it for? So, it may seem really obvious to address that question in the beginning, but really a lot of people miss it. And oftentimes what we see in content is that there's this sort of thinking that it's one size fits all, when really, obviously, to us, obviously anyway, not the case. So one of the exercises that you do when you're an inbound marketer, which we are, is developing your buyer persona. So really just figuring out who you're talking to and when. So that's probably the first and most important place that I would start, and it is where we start because it's critical to know the voice that you want to use for that particular piece of content. Setting your content goals. So once you set your goals, that'll help you figure out how much you need to push out there. So if your your goal is to just keep your blog kind of active and sharing some tidbits on it, depending on the size of company, you could get away with doing one blog post per week. For us, we want to really push a lot of content out. We have a lot to say, but we also, really want to be viewed as the authoritative voice in the content providing space. So it just defining what that goal is will help you figure out how much you need to push out. And then, the sort of last bit that we kind of want to address is that there's really no magic number. I mean, if you've looked online, and we've Googled it, we're totally guilty of Googling this question about magic number. Formulas come up for sure. There's a lot of smart data driven companies who've sort of said this is how you establish your formula depending on the goals. And I'm not discrediting that, but I think a bigger part is just follow your sort of instinct on it and think about who I'm writing for, why I'm writing it, and then kind of work your way backwards from that. So, for example, if you've got an event that's coming up and you've got a month or whatever, 2 months before the event is ready to be launched, obviously you're going to push up a lot more content. You're going to do infographics, videos, blog posts. But if it's, there's not a whole time sensitive issue to it, and you're just really wanting to kind of inform your customers, then you would look at it from that perspective and you wouldn't need to push tons of it out. But I think the bottom line has always been, for us anyway, is to make sure the content that you're pushing out is useful. In the last 2 years since Google's really pushed this whole idea of content, everybody kind of went nuts, and it's pretty annoying. I mean, if you're a consumer, there's so much content out there that it gets to be where you just completely tune out. So that's frustrating because obviously as a content company, we want to produce really good content, but nobody really feels like they have a good handle on what that means anymore. So I think it's just one of those things where you got to sit still, get quiet, really think about things from your buyer's perspective, and not so much, I want to push out content. Think about it. Sit down and think, if I'm on the consuming end of this, what's interesting to me? How much do I need to see? There's a ton of stuff I get. I'm signed up, obviously, for a bunch of subscriptions, and I'm inundated. And sometimes I don't even think twice about just unsubscribing myself from these lists, even though it might be something I'm really interested in, because it's just too much. So we never want to put content out just for the sake of putting content out. So remember who's reading it. Remember what your goals are. No magic number. Really use your instincts on what you think your customers want to read, and yet that's a good start for you. So any questions, hit us up at www.getawesomecontent.com, and we hope you have a great day. Take it easy. Bye.